It is 10:03, and the meeting has started the recording. So thank you all so very much for being here today. Like I mentioned, I promise not to hold you too long. I know everyone has a ton of things to do, especially around this time of the year. And so again, just wanted to ensure that you all are fully prepared. And I'm sorry, hold on, let me go ahead and mute everyone real quick so there's no background noise. All righty. So the purpose of this supervisor training, at least the first half of it, is to ensure that you all are prepared, just as much as the youth are prepared as we embark on a journey this summer in providing meaningful employment opportunities to our young people. So we will go ahead and get right along. With this, again, just wanted to introduce you all to the YouthWorks RVA program. For those of you all who are new to our partner employer network, we are in the Office of Community Wealth Building, called Youth Engagement Services, formerly known as the Mayor's Youth Academy. Just want to give a quick disclaimer before we begin to briefly acknowledge that this training is designed specifically for supervisors who will be supporting the YouthWorks RVA program as site supervisors and as placements. So these materials help create consistency across all of the sites so that youth are receiving strong and meaningful experiences no matter where they are placed, with that shared foundation to ensure that you all have what you need to be successful as a site supervisor. So I just wanted to put that disclaimer out there. All righty, well, my name is Erika Love. I have the pleasure and distinct honor of serving as the program coordinator for Youth Engagement Services in the Office of Community Wealth Building. I am also an alum of this program back when it was called Mayor's Youth Academy. I started my internship with the city and with Mayor's Youth Academy, now called Youth Engagement Services, when I was 15 years old. Interned with this program for 3 years before going off to college and coming back to do what I'm doing here today. And so I've served in this capacity as program coordinator for a little over 8 years. And one of my primary responsibilities is to help manage our employer partnerships. But again, my favorite part of this work is connecting with the youth and taking my personal experiences and using it to shape the work that we do and how we provide support to young people. And so I've liked transitioning to, more focused on the employer partnerships because again, I want the youth to get as much out of it, just as much as our partner employers. And so I want them to be able to connect with you all, to see you all as mentors and as someone that they can go to if they have any questions. So again, thank you all so much for being here today, and thank you for partnering with us. You all are just as important as the youth in this. We cannot do what we do without you all. So I just wanted to, again, just thank you so very much for your support on behalf of the City of Richmond and on behalf of the Office of Community Wealth Building. All right, so here's a brief overview of what we will cover today. Most of the material you will receive in your supervisor's toolkit, but to help you and support you in your role as a site supervisor, we'll provide a program overview, so what the program is, what supervision looks like, and also talk about what supports are available to you throughout the summer. So today we'll walk through a brief overview of Youth Engagement Services and YouthWorks RVA, supervisor roles as site supervisors, expectations, and also review key program dates as it relates to the summer. We'll also discuss onboarding guidance and policies and procedures and the Youth Safety and Support Plan, which is a new resource that we'll be providing to you all this summer. So let's see here. All right, so program overview. The Youth Engagement Services unit is the youth serving unit in the Office of Community Welfare. And like I mentioned, we were formerly known as the Mayor's Youth Academy. This program was launched by former Mayor Dwight C. Jones in 2010 and designed to really develop Richmond's future leaders and workforce. So it is a workforce development program with the mission of engaging youth in productive career exploration programming, leadership development, using that work-based learning approach and model. And so really our team is created to help cultivate these positive relationships while ensuring that students have what they need to be successful, not only at their jobs, but also, in their academic settings, and also ensuring that they have the skills, both technical and soft skills, to succeed in their workplaces. So again, our goal is to develop Richmond's future workforce, who will one day become our city's future leaders. And so within YES, YouthWorks RVA serves as our primary summer youth workforce initiative. And so each year through YouthWorks RVA, we connect hundreds of young people between the ages of 14 to 24 with structured internships experiences across the city. You'll see, and probably notice those who are on the call that we work with a wide variety of partners, right? So anything from nonprofits to faith-based organizations to corporations and city departments. So we work with a vast variety of different organizations to be able to provide these experiences for our young people. And like I mentioned, we can't do what we do without you. So YouthWorks RVA is the largest employer of youth through a summer program in Central Virginia. So last year we hired over 600 youth, and this year we're shooting for 750. So as you can imagine, like I mentioned, we need all the support that we can get, and we appreciate you all. So really quickly, just want to highlight this quote from one of our youth participants in their participation in the summer program. So they said, before this program, I didn't know what I needed to do or what I wanted to do after high school. And so working with their site supervisor showed them that they have something valuable to offer and that they can see a future and are excited about that future. So for many youth, this internship may represent their first exposure to professional expectations and workplace culture and mentorship. So definitely something to keep in mind as you are working with your young person this summer. All right, so here highlight some of the key program pillars as it relates to experiences that we provide for young people that include job readiness, leadership development, work-based learning, and mentorship and coaching. So one moment that has stuck with me from last summer doing YouthWorks was we had a young person who came in really quiet and unsure of themselves, and during pre-employment training, they barely spoke a word and didn't seem confident in being in a work setting. So we were covering topics like job readiness training, but I knew they needed more than just job readiness topics. They needed a real conversation with someone, with a mentor, with their site supervisor to help build their confidence. And so a few weeks into their placement, their supervisor updated us and was saying how engaged they were, how confident they were, how much they were taking initiative. So by the end of the program, they were more confident even stepping into those small leadership moments and roles within that respective organization. And so that experience reminded me that job readiness matters, but it's the mentorship and coaching that really makes it stick out. So I do have a question for you all. So what skills, attitudes, or experiences would youth need to succeed in your workplace? If you can drop your answers in the chat for me. And again, it asks, what skills, attitudes, or experiences would youth need to succeed in your workplace? So this question helps us think together about what success looks like in your specific workplace setting, because every site is a little different. Youth are entering at different stages through their internship. And so this, again, just helps us get an idea of what you all expect from the youth and what your expectations are. All right, enthusiasm, flexibility, positivity, curiosity. Oh, I love that. Awesome. So again, I wanted to ask that question because your perspective helps us understand what skills and support matter most for them to grow and contribute um, successfully at your work site. So as you think about this question, you might consider like what helps someone adjust quickly at your work site, what expectations are most important early on, what professional habits take time to develop, and where supervisor guidance makes the biggest difference. Sometimes the most important skills are things like communicating, and also, clearly asking questions and being dependable and staying on time. So these are all great responses that'll help us when we're doing our training for the youth as well. Thank you so much for sharing. All right, so to understand how this differs from traditional employment, it helps to look at how YouthWorks defines internship and what that means for a summer internship experience or program. So the internships are structured as learning experiences first. So this means that youth are interns rather than employees, and supervisors serve as mentors as well as managers. And so with this support, it's not just about completing tasks, it's about also helping the youth build workplace identity. So I just wanted to highlight the difference here between a job and an opportunity. So for some organizations and for some programs, you can see your youth as an employee, whereas for this, you can see your youth as an intern. And so for your supervisor role, your role is a mentor, and then also your supervisory role is to manage. And so with this particular program, as it relates to the in-person internship experience, the youth will be paid hourly with this as well, which is also a differentiating factor in the experience that the youth will take part in. All right, so getting into the roles and responsibilities of supervisors, with that learning created structure in mind, let's talk about what the supervisor role looks like in practice. So as supervisors, your role includes hosting and mentoring youth, providing direction and holding regular check-ins with the youth, and also creating a space for sharing feedback and also evaluations, and also just staying connected with youth engagement services staff. So as I mentioned, during the partner trainings, you all will receive a designated career advisor who will be there to assist youth and you all every step of the way. And so these people are hired during the summer to assist with check-ins, to help with case management for the youth and provide that additional support and be there to answer any questions that you all may have throughout the summer experience. And so that's one of the key things and one of the things that we like to ensure that we inform the site supervisors of, because again, they are not only there to support the youth, they are also there to support you all as the site supervisors as well. And so again, these are just some of the key highlights as it relates to what your role and responsibility is going to be as a site supervisor. But of course, this is not an exhaustive list, right? Other things may come up and you may need to pivot. However, the most important thing is to ensure that it is a mutually beneficial partnership, right? We want the youth to leave having learned a new skill, having learned something different about themselves with this experience. And we want you all to take away from that as well and reframe, how you think about internships, how you think about incorporating high school youth into your programming and the opportunities that you all provide for them. So not only are you hosting, but mentorship is a key component to it. It's important to provide regular feedback and check-ins and also participate in these trainings that we offer as well. And so with the power of mentoring, we like to say it only takes one. So when we talk about mentoring youth, you may have heard this phrase, it only takes one caring adult to make a difference in the lives of our young people. And that phrase actually comes from research, right? And so with this, one of the most widely cited studies behind this idea, the mentoring effect was especially important because it talks about the direct impact that mentoring has on the youth and young people. And so in their findings, they were able to report out that having mentors were more likely, youth who had mentors were more likely to attend college, were more likely to participate in leadership activities and stay engaged through their communities. And at the same time, revealed something important, that 1 in 3 people reported that growing up without a mentor changed the trajectory of their life. So again, it's important that we include that mentorship component in this summer work experience, because they are going to be looking to you for direction and for guidance and for assistance throughout this program. As I mentioned, this may be their first work experience. And so it's important for us to kind of keep that in mind, that we ensure that at least one person from your team or one person from your staff is that point person to provide the mentorship and guidance to our young people. Awesome. So I really wanted to take a quick moment to review some of the key dates as it relates to the summer. And so the program starts, or youth will begin their pre-employment training June 15th through June 26th. And so, like I mentioned, in addition to the supervisor trainings that we provide, we also ensure that the youth are fully prepared as well. So that was one of the reasons why I wanted to ask you all what's important for your respective organizations. What's something that you want us to emphasize or re-emphasize to the young person that's going to be working at your respective sites as it relates to when we provide that pre-employment training for the youth. And so again, youth will be in pre-employment training starting June 15th through June the 26th, prior to them starting on their work site, at their work site on June the 29th through August the 7th. Because students are going to be City of Richmond temporary employees, we do recognize the City of Richmond holidays as well. So June 19th, the city will be closed, so youth will not report to pre-employment training. And on July 3rd, the city is closed for Independence Day, so they will not report to their work sites. Okay, so again, just wanted to highlight some of these key dates for you all to keep in mind. And I'll also share this again via email so that you all are aware. And again, the last day of the internship is August 7th. So it's a 8-week-long program for the youth, and it's a 6-week commitment for our site supervisors. Okay, so I would encourage you as the site supervisors, or if there's another team member who will be supporting, to put these dates into your calendars so that you are aware of what's happening and when the youth will be out. Awesome. So we have some tips here for an effective onboarding process, right? So for the site supervisors who opted to host the youth, meaning that they'll be placed on the city's payroll, yes, we can email these dates out. Thank you, Matt. So yeah, for the site supervisors who have opted to host the youth, meaning the payroll, we handle the HR onboarding, but we still encourage you all as site supervisors to have your own level of onboarding as well. So once interns arrive, the first few days are critical in helping shape their confidence and expectations and overall experience in the workplace, right? So a strong first day often leads to a stronger internship experience overall, because it helps youth feel welcomed, prepared, and sets clear expectations about their role from the start. And so we've seen some supervisors treat this day differently than official orientation day, And that approach makes a real difference as it relates to the youth, the young people who are going to be at your site. So when interns are welcome intentionally and introduced to the workplace and how it operates, they're much more likely to be engaged and confident and ready to go for the summer experience. So helpful onboarding steps can include, providing a welcome tour of the workspace, introducing your intern or interns to different team members, and explaining, what your staff members' roles are and how they contribute to your organization, clarifying expectations for daily responsibilities, letting them know, where they're going to sit throughout the duration of the program, letting them know the time frame, again, of when they're expected to be at work and when they're expected to leave work, as well as, again, just identifying that point of contact, that key person who will serve as that young person's mentor for the duration of the program. And so typically this year, you'll notice for those organizations that have been with us for some time that we added an additional contact person just in case the person who completed the application is not or will not be the person who will be directly supporting and mentoring the young people. And so you all will receive a sample youth-friendly agenda, but also it's highly encouraged that you all kind of create one of your own as well. So these early steps communicate something very important to young people, that they belong in the workplace and that their role matters. And so we'll also include in the supervisor toolkit sample work plans, which will also help set clear expectations and level set expectations as well. So clarifying work schedules, establishing dress codes, and also reviewing timekeeper procedures, which is something that our career advisors and our staff will be there to assist you all with. All right, so building a supportive learning environment. So beyond logistics, supervisors also play a key role in shaping the learning environment youth experience each day. So for many young people, like I mentioned before, this may be their very first job experience or their very first internship. And so this internship is their first exposure to a professional workplace. So what they observe and experience within you often becomes their understanding of what work looks like and feels like. And so supervisors support success in simple but powerful ways by, one, modeling workplace expectations and providing encouragement and helping youth navigate the normal nerves that come with the first job. So something as small as explaining how to ask questions or how to communicate if they're running late or how to prioritize tasks can make a lasting difference in a young person's confidence and help them feel confident enough to be able to have those conversations with you all. It's also important to remember that youth are learning not just what to do, but how to be in the workplace. So they're watching how teams communicate. They're watching how, the professionals around them solve problems. They are watching how you all support one another and work as a team. So your example helps set that tone. Supervisors should also take time early on to review site safety procedures and make sure assignments remain age appropriate and also developmentally appropriate. Okay, so we work with a wide range of youth. Like I mentioned, for some, this may be their first work experience. For others, they may have a little bit more experience. So we want to make sure that we are meeting the youth or the young person where they are and provide tasks and instruction and guidance based on their need and level of support. Okay, so youth placements are structured as learning experiences first. I want to really hone in on that this is a learning experience first. And so that's really the goal for the youth as well. So ensuring safety and clarity helps interns feel supported and also feel like they can succeed in their workplace. Setting the pace, so policies and procedures. So to support both supervisors and youth, YouthWorks RVA provides shared policies and structured guidance. So you'll see a lot of this information in the toolkit that we'll share, as well as the additional resources. So this program includes shared expectations that support consistency across all internship sites, including youth and supervisor commitments. So that structured support framework and the youth safety and support plan, together, these help ensure placements remain safe, structured, and also meaningful. Supervisor commitments. So as host supervisors or as site supervisors, your partnership is essential in creating a meaningful and successful internship experience for the young people. So there are a few key commitments that help ensure that the placements remain structured, supportive, and development focused. So supervisors are asked to provide a welcoming and supportive work environment. This includes helping you feel included from the beginning. Like I mentioned before, introducing them to your different staff team members, different departments. We've seen a lot of success from partners or site supervisors who have exposed their youth to more than just one subset of their respective organization. So I'll use Richmond Region Tourism as an example because they were a new partner last year, and they really took that initiative to ensure that youth had a variety of different experiences. So I think one day they had youth shadow the marketing department, and then the next day they had them shadowing someone else. And so they really got to see the different parts within that organization instead of just kind of staying in one place. So feel free to expose the youth to different things. Feel free to, include them in the meetings that you all go to, barring, confidentiality, and also just ensuring to, take them with you if you have an offsite meeting or anything to that effect. So you have that autonomy to do that. So just ensure, if you are transporting the youth, that they have signed off on the transportation waiver and that you yourselves have signed off on that as well. And so again, with the supervisor commitments, that also include providing opportunities for you to learn site-specific technical skills, as well as tracking participant hours. And so we will take a good load off from you all by helping to assist with timekeeping, as well as the career advisors. And then also, again, if something comes up, like immediately notify myself or another member of our team, and we will address it promptly. And I see some questions coming in the chat. I do have my colleague Raphael Johnson on the monitoring the chat as well. And then I can also address the questions in the chat at the end of this presentation as well. All right, so alongside supervisor commitments, we also share a set of expectations with the youth as well, because we want to ensure that, again, they are holding up to their end of the experiences, and they, are set up for success. So as far as the youth intern commitments, these expectations are designed to support their growth as emerging professionals. So interns are expected to participate in any supervisor plan activities because these activities are intentionally designed as learning opportunities and not just tasks. And so if you ask them to do something or go somewhere with you, they are expected to do that. And so participation helps youth gain exposure to workplace routines and build confidence over time. Maintaining acceptable attendance and arriving on time are two of the most important habits that we instill in the youth, especially during youth pre-employment training. And this helps the youth practice, commitment and discipline. For many young people, this will be their first time having to manage an actual structured work schedule. So this becomes an important part of their job readiness development. We also ask and require that our interns show respect to site supervisors and to staff and to peers. So learning how to communicate respectfully and work as a team is a core workplace skills that transfers into youth future and development as well. And youth are also encouraged to take initiatives and to be proactive. And as the site supervisors, you all have the autonomy to let them know what that looks like. and what your expectations are. So that could mean, asking on how they can help volunteer or how they can, support with different tasks. And so these moments really help build their leadership confidence. Maintaining a growth mindset is another key expectation. So interns are reminded that they are here to learn and mistakes are a part of the process. And so asking questions and accepting feedback are signs of professionalism, not weakness. So we also encourage youth to demonstrate a positive and cooperative attitude, especially when trying something new and trying something that they haven't done before. So that willingness often, allows youth to be engaged and to make a difference in their workplace. And then finally, interns are expected to seek clarity on their duties and responsibilities when needed. So learning how to ask questions appropriately is one of those strongest professional habits they can build during their placement. And so together, these expectations help you practice the habits that not only support success during their internship, but also in the future as well. And supervisors, you all do play an important role in reinforcing these skills through daily guidance and encouragement. All right, so getting into the youth safety and support plan. So this youth safety and support plan provides a tiered framework to help and design and strengthen placements, not correct them. And so this framework supports communication, alignment, and youth well-being throughout the internship experience. So the tiers are as follows. So tier 1 is a support check-in, right? So again, they'll be working directly with the career advisors who will provide that additional support to the youth throughout the duration of their participation. And so with this, if support is needed, this is the first tier where the career advisors will come in, have a conversation with the youth, have a conversation with you as the site supervisor if any issues arise. Tier 2 is structured support. And so what that means is one-on-one sessions with a OCWB or YES team member. And then also tier 3, if the need escalates or it becomes a request, tier 3 involves placement adjustment and review. So along with an immediate support and safety response pathway, this is also something that will be embedded into the expectations for the supervisors as well as for the youth as well. So tier 1, again, just focuses on early alignment conversations with small adjustments need to be made to help strengthen the experience. So examples include just clarifying expectations, supporting communication, adjusting assignments, or helping with timekeeping questions. So the goal is to provide early support and not just escalating the issue to, removal of the youth or young person. With tier 2, that support is intentionally added. So with tier 2 provides the next level of support. This means providing guidance when concerns continue after that initial check-in, which includes strengthening supervision consistency, adjusting assignments, and also supporting policy alignment and reinforcing safety expectations. So this part of the process is that structured follow-up and planning support. And if concerns continue to arise, that's when tier 3 will be implemented to help determine next steps. So that's when we get involved, and that's when we have to intervene if issues continue to arise as it relates to the youth at their placement or the site supervisor and the structured guidance they are providing to the youth. So again, we just wanted to put this in place to ensure that everyone's on the same page as relates to expectations. From a supervisory standpoint and also from a youth standpoint as well. So this is what we are newly implementing at this stage of the program. Our priority is always the safety and the well-being of our young people. And so we want to keep that at the forefront of our minds as we are going throughout this experience and ensure that, the integrity of the program is also at the forefront of our minds. All righty, so kind of getting into the supervisor's toolkit. To make supervision easier throughout the summer, we do provide you all with the Supervisor Toolkit that will provide you with that step-by-step guidance. So it includes onboarding guidance, communication expectations, attendance procedures, incident reporting guidance, and also supervision support. So it's really designed to help supervisors feel confident throughout the placement experience and help the youth stay engaged. And so really quickly, I just want to ask a quick question. So for those of you on the call who have participated in previous years, I believe last year was the first year we implemented the Supervisor Toolkit. Can you share how you all engaged the toolkit last year? Feel free to come off mute. Feel free to put it in a chat as well.
This is Draymond Miller with Street Smart Service Safety. I used the toolkit just as a checklist to make sure I had everything that I needed to be successful for the summer. So it was a good way to just look at it and assess that I had everything prepared for the young people and for myself.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Miller. Anyone else want to share? Thank you, Queen. All righty. Awesome, awesome. I'm so happy to hear that the toolkit was beneficial to you all and extremely helpful. So thank you all so much for sharing. So again, this toolkit provides you with everything you'll need for a successful work experience. Like I said, we also include templates. If you need to report an incident, we also include those sample work plans as well. The template for your check-ins, your supervisor weekly check-ins with the youth as well. And so we'll receive all of this information on our end if there's a need for you all to submit any documents. And so all of this will be in the toolkit. Just want to shout out Haya Braxton, who worked so diligently to make sure that this toolkit looks aesthetically pleasing. So shout out to you, Haya. So again, in addition to the support framework, there are also clear steps supervisors should follow in the event a workplace incident occurs. So, of course, fingers crossed, we hope nothing happens, but in the event, we do have that template for you that will hopefully make it easier for you to let us know what's going on. And so with this, you must ensure immediate safety, notify the site supervisor, and contact a member of our team within 24 hours to complete that incident report, and then we'll follow up with you as well. So these steps ensure that youth receive consistent support across all the sites. So all of you all will have the same information. None of it will be tweaked or changed depending on the sites themselves. So again, you all will receive the same consistent information. Okay, so another thing that's in the toolkit is that project planner, which I think will be extremely helpful for you all as you are mapping out what projects or what tasks you want the youth to participate in. So this helps supervisors and interns start the internship with a clear plan and shared expectations. So it's probably one of the most important tools for setting youth up for success from the beginning. So highly encourage you all to use this project planner template. Highly encourage that you provide as much information as possible. Thank you. And really, use it for your benefit. And so supervisors should complete this with the intern, not for the intern. So the goal is collaboration and clarity. The planner helps define the intern's role, project, identify learning goals, outline tasks and responsibilities, connect daily work to actual skill development, because that's also a key component to this program and also a key deliverable that we're hoping youth will leave this experience with. So this tool turns a placement into an actual structured workforce experience, right? We want to think of this more than just a placement, more than just somewhere for the youth to just sit for 6 weeks out of the program, right? So this will help you all create that structured learning environment, okay? And then also you'll see here a picture of what the supervisor weekly check-in looks like as well. All right, so really quickly, I just wanted to ask you all another question. So what other supports or resources will make it easier for you and your staff to successfully host youth? And I'm going to pull up the chat so I can check out these answers as well. So again, what other supports or resources will make it easier for you and your staff to successfully host youth? Okay, I'm seeing laptops. Let's see. So we don't supply laptops. However, it may be on a case-by-case basis. Hiking shoes, water bottles. Okay, check-ins with the MYA. Guidance on how to complete their timesheets appropriately. Okay, I think you all are going to really love how we're doing timesheets this year. Ongoing digital training for the youth. That's great. Yes. Calendars, timeline of the previously. Yeah, so the timesheets are going to be digital this year. So we are using JotForm for timesheet completion this year, which will make the process much easier for you all as the site supervisors for the youth. And again, those career advisors are going to be there to ensure that both you as a site supervisor and the youth have the guidance that they need. What is the transportation system? So we do not provide transportation. However, if the youth comes to us and state that that's a need, we will try to do what we can to assist them in that realm, but we do encourage our youth and young adults to take advantage of the free GRTC. Yeah, so the transportation waiver was included in the partner agreement form. And so that just highlights that if you decide to transport youth, you are waiving you're not waiving liability. You are agreeing to assume liability in that. And then also you are not transporting them into your personal vehicles. I agree, knowing the age of the intern will support our workforce. Timesheets will be done. Will they need computer access? So with JotForm, they should be able to input time with their phones, but it will be electronic. Will work deliverables be timed? So for Founders Mark, yes. Have site supervisors attend orientation, meet the career advisor in advance, and copy site supervisors on all communication to youth and parents. Ooh, that's a good one. We don't include site supervisors because otherwise they will be reaching out to you all directly. And we try to alleviate them flooding your inbox and calling you at all hours of the night, because they will do that. So we try to make sure that they don't have your information until they know where they will be placed. Definitely, I'm going to tell you, we're going to figure it out. We're going to figure out a way to ensure that you all have that time to meet with your assigned youth prior to them starting at your workplace. It might be virtual, it might be in person. As the program continues to grow, it's become harder for us to kind of get everyone there in the same space along with their assigned students, but we're going to do our best. Knowing the age of participants prior to their arrival to ensure yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Jennifer. Absolutely. Culture and competence training. I love that. For clarity, will students be in charge of entering and submitting time on there? Yeah, so the youth will work with their career advisors to submit their time, but you as the site supervisors will also be included on that to verify that their time. Yes, we need to meet the site supervisors before meeting youth. Okay, thank you, Helen. Yeah, so if they are 18 years or older, they are okay to ride in your company van, truck, or car. Again, just have to ensure that you or someone from your agency have signed off on that transportation liability waiver. Past years, you've had in-person events with students and supervisors. Is anything planned for this year? I think, Kendall, you're referring to the culminating event. As of right now, there's no plans to do that, but my supervisor is on the call. I think she still is. And so we will see if something is in the works for this year. And so really quick, kind of piggybacking off of Kendall's question. So before the program grew to the large scale that it is today, we used to have a culminating event to just celebrate everyone's accomplishments and their commitment throughout the duration of the summer programs. And so we've had like a field day culminating event. We've had, we even took the site supervisors and the youth to Kings Dominion one year where we had like a final presentation and then youth were able to kind of go off and enjoy the park. So yes, yes, yes. Absolutely, Kendall. Yes, Sharmia, you can absolutely ask the question.
Thank you so much. And hello, everybody. Um, I had a question in regards to the transportation piece again. So the structure of our programming, we have program leads drive their own personal vehicles to the multiple sites that we're going to be working with this summer. And I know you mentioned that students are not able to ride in personal vehicles. However, we typically have our staff carpool, especially if they're going to Highland Springs, for an example,
Mhm.
and we have programs there all day. So, how do you suggest we navigate that?
No, that's perfectly fine. I know
Okay.
not everyone has like a company vehicle or, company truck or whatever the case may be. The most important thing is to ensure that we have that transportation waiver liability on file for your respective organizations.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
you're welcome. Will and LaQuasia, you mentioned that understanding the transportation system.
Yes, but the young lady just asked a question, Miss McMary. So ours is similar. We manage several different facilities. So just as she was stating about getting the youth
Mhm.
to the different facilities and the transportation, would you just explain that they will have to have a waiver? We need
Absolutely.
to sign the waiver with transporting
Mhm.
them. But another question. So
Mhm.
at the start of it, are we picking them up from your facility? Or are they finding a way to our facility? How does that?
Yeah, so youth are responsible for their own transportation, getting to
Okay.
and from their work site.
Okay.
So again, unless you all are going off site or a part of the job entails traveling to different sites, um, that's the youth are responsible for getting to and from their work site. And so
Okay.
because we do work with youth as young as 16 in this particular portion of the program, upwards of 24. I would imagine that, some youth will have their own transportation or rely on a loved one or take public transportation. So I also want that to be considered as well. Even when you all are working with the youth to craft the schedules, right? So we all know, or maybe we don't, GRTC can get a little wonky sometimes. And so really want that to be considered as you all are planning the youth schedules and keep that into consideration that, it might take a youth, an hour and a half via GRTC to get to and from their workplace. But we also are intentional about placing the youth somewhere that aligns with their career interest and that is close to where they live as well. Yes, that's fine,
Thank you. That was perfect.
Angelica. Yeah, of course, of course. That is fine, as long as we have, again, that waiver, and your vehicle is insured, that is fine. All righty. Well, thank you all so much for sharing what supports or resources would make it easier for you and your staff. One of the key things I wanted to note is that digital skills training, culture and competence training, training on timesheets, which is all very important, as well as, hiking shoes, water bottles, check-ins, and all of those good things. So thank you so much for sharing that. If you can think of anything else, please feel free to put it in the chat. This question was more so about what we can do as a YES team and OCWB team to support you all in ensuring that, it's a meaningful experience for you as the site supervisors. Yes, Ms. Tammy, yes. So we will require some documentation regarding ensuring that, if you are going to be transferring them in your personal vehicles, as well as providing guidelines for adults transporting youth alone in their cars. So thank you so much for bringing that up. Do I need a waiver? Oh, sorry.
No, I was just the 25 hours a week only question. I didn't hear the answer to that. Is that the limit for the students?
Yes, so it's 20 to
Okay.
25 hours for the youth each week. So we do recognize, or we actually surveyed the youth last year just to kind of get an idea of, how they were spending their money after they went through the financial literacy training. And so a lot of them stated that, we use this money to support our families. We use this money to, support our loved ones or pay for clothes back to school. And so we want to ensure that they reach the maximum amount of hours as possible. If there's a case where, you're only, let's say, you're only able to provide 15 hours, which is the absolute minimum, let us know and we can work with the youth to identify other items for them to complete. And you're welcome. Do we make up the schedule for the 25 hours? Yeah, so you as a site supervisor, it's probably best to work with the youth to develop a schedule that works best for you all. How
will we know who we're working with, like their names, their ages, things like that? When will we get that information?
Yes, so you all will have that information by the second week of May.
Okay,
the second week of May. And I'm sorry, James, I'm not sure I understand your question. But we can feel free to call me if you have a question. Also, another thing that I wanted to emphasize, and we can go ahead and we already started the Q&A portion, but one thing I wanted to emphasize that if your site requires an additional onboarding requirements, so background checks, testing, all of those things, you all will be responsible for facilitating that process. And so once you all have your identified youth, you will be responsible for paying for it if there's a cost and facilitating that process, but we will be here to support if there's an issue where you can't reach your youth or you're having trouble getting communicating to them. But anything related to background checks or testing or anything like that, you will work with your youth or young person to facilitate that process. Any other questions? Before we wrap up, I just want to take a moment to pause and open the space for any questions. Yes.
Does that include transportation as well if we do need them to do testing or anything in that sort?
So you don't have to set up transportation for them. The youth are responsible for their own transportation. That's not something that you all need to set up for them.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I saw someone
Hey,
had a
good
hand
morning,
up.
Erika. Yeah, I had my
Hey.
hand up. This is Selena. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Awesome. I had a quick question. So we have a waiver, because we're working out of a storage unit. Are they able to sign the waiver, or do we have to get their parent to sign the waiver?
If they're under the age of 18, yes, the parent or guardian would need to sign and review the waiver. We will actually need to sign to review it as well.
See it? Okay.
Yes. But if they're 18 and over, they are okay with signing it.
Okay, I'll make sure I submit it, by email or some form to you all in advance.
Thank you so much. Ms. Tammy, I see your question. If a youth is consistently late or having discipline issues, what is the correct course of action? can they be reassigned? Great, great question. And so that's where that tiered support comes in. But we also have something similar for the youth as well. So there are steps, and you'll see this in the toolkit. There are steps in the corrective action process, right? So that includes having that conversation with that young person. That includes incorporating their career advisors. That includes the next step being incorporating myself or another member of the YES OCWB team. And if it reaches beyond that third step after they've communicated with us, that is where we would review reassignment and or dismissal from the program. One thing that I want to emphasize as site supervisors is they are City of Richmond employees. Okay, so we are the ones who will determine whether or not they will be dismissed from the program. We will have that final say. Of course, we work with you all to determine, what took place and the actions and what your reasoning and justification for, why you think they need to be removed or reassigned or whatever the case may be. But we will make that decision. When we finish, can I stay on for a second to ask you about? Yes. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Absolutely. All right, so before we wrap up, again, I just wanted to highlight what's next as a site supervisor. So this is just part one of the site supervisor requirements. We do have site supervisor training part 2 on May the 20th, okay, which is a Wednesday from 1 to 4 p.m. And that's going to be at the Life Church, which is located on at 5515 Bryce Lane, Richmond, Virginia, okay? So thank you so much again for joining. We really look forward to working with you all this summer and just having fun. Honestly, that's the key. Just have fun. Have fun, have fun, have fun. And if there's anything you need assistance with, please reach out to me. And this is my information here. Thank you so much, Matthew. Thank you all so very much. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. So I will send out this recording as well as the resources, the toolkits, everything you need.
Thank you, Erica. Amazing job.
Thank you so much.
Looking forward to this. All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. You all have a great one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all so much.